What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you 5 hidden features or just less known features that came out in Ableton Live 11. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first up we have the note names in the piano roll. So we can actually right click within the piano roll, go to accidentals, and select how our notes are displayed. So if we want to see the sharps, we could select sharps. If we want to see the notes as flats, we could select flats, or we can select both, which is what I choose to do. Now you can see that F sharp is also G flat. So that's why we have the option to select either or. For hidden tip number 2, we have creating clip chains. Now, in the session view, you can select multiple clips, right click on them, and choose to create a follow action chain. Now, when we do this and we launch one clip, the clip will play, and then play the second clip or the next clips directly after that first one. So it basically loops these two clips together. Let's check it out. We're continuously launching the next clip in the group. So that's really helpful for creating dynamic and evolving performances with just a simple clip instead of having to launch new clips every bar or so. Next up, we have some new features for follow actions. So the first hidden feature is actually this global follow action button. So if we click this, you'll see that when we launch a clip, our second clip is no longer launched automatically. So this button actually allows us to disable follow actions across the entire live set. And this is helpful if you just want to focus on editing this clip and you want it to repeat rather than jumping to the next clip every time it's finished. However, we can just re-enable those, and now we launch a clip and our next clip is automatically launched. For tip number 4, we're coming back into the MIDI editor, and we all know the big update, Live 11, includes a lot of chance and randomization options, but new updates have also been added to the velocity editor. So now what we can do is actually select a velocity range by clicking on the velocity slider, holding Control on Windows, or Command on Mac, and simply dragging up or down. Now this is actually going to create a range for which this specific note can play. So this range actually indicates all of the possible velocities that this note will play at, and it changes every time we loop through. Now also changes in the velocity editor, let's talk about MPE and note expression. So here we can adjust the pitch of a note. So if we were to drag this up, we can say transpose this by however many semitones over a certain amount of time. But sometimes we want pretty specific adjustments. So we can hold Alt on Windows or Command on Mac and drag up and down to have our MPE expression snap to the grid. Now this works the same for all the other MPE expression modules. However, since in Slide we're not really snapping to semitones, this will instead snap to the grid lines. Alright, now let's talk about tip number 5, which are variations and randomization within macros. Now we all know about this new randomization option here. It's really cool. It allows you to make variations very quickly, which variations are basically just presets of macro controls. So let's play around with this. Here we have the basic guitar. We press random. Okay, press random. This is what I'm talking about. So when we press random, our volume parameter went to -21. So we can't even hear this now. Now we could continuously go back to this macro and reset it. Or what we can do is actually right click and choose to exclude this macro from randomization. So we'll go ahead and do that and keep on hitting random. So this little technique makes it so that our random function here is a lot more usable, and we don't have to spend a lot of time tweaking. We can just click random and create many variations very quickly. Now you can do the same thing with exclude macro from variations, and this will mean that whatever setting your macro is set to, if you were to load a different variation, that macro would be ignored. So for example, let's set this to -8, and we'll choose to exclude from variation. Now, we'll create a variation out of that one, but we'll press random, and we won't exclude this macro from randomization. So we'll press random again. You can see this is now -20. We're going to save that. So now we're working on variation 2, as you can see, but when we hit variation 1, we're going to stay at -20. And that's because we're excluding that macro from variation changes. Alright, so I know the video says 5 tips, but you know at Frenchtown Media, we got to give you a little extra. So here's a little bonus tip. A new feature within follow actions allows you to unlink your follow actions from the actual clip. So when they're linked, basically when this clip ends, then the next follow action will occur. However, when they're unlinked, we can choose an amount like 1 bar for this follow action to occur. So for this follow action, it's set to select the next clip, which is this clip right here. And then from this follow action, it's set to jump to the next clip, which is this one on top of the little loop that we created, again, by creating a follow action chain. So right now, because this is only set to 1 bar, we are unlinked from our actual clip time. You could do the same thing with envelope and automations, but in Ableton 11, this feature is now extended to follow actions. So check this out. After 1 bar, we're automatically going to jump into this clip. So you could get some really interesting results. I'm just going to go ahead and set those back to link, and then we're going to disable all follow actions globally. So hopefully you guys found some of these tips really useful. These hidden features I know were really cool when I discovered them, and I hope it helps you all. If it does, please consider leaving a like, dropping a comment if I missed any hidden features that I could go over next time, and subscribing for more weekly content just like this. Anyways, that's going to be all from me. Thank you very much for watching.